Okay, after talking to our Schoology rep and after looking at reviewing a test, so I'm pretty good at grading tests, but I have to go through each question now one by one. And I used Moodle, full disclosure, before, and Moodle had what's called a wildcard feature. And so what I would do in Moodle is I would go in to the question. And so this question is about basically how much different is rainwater from tomatoes. And so you would see two, but actually it's a 10-fold increase. And so it's actually 100 times greater. And so you'll see my answer here is 100. And so what I would do in Moodle in previous years is I would put asterisks around 100. And what that would do is any one of these answers like this one, it would have graded it and marked it right because it's just looking for anywhere where a student typed in the number 100. I could also do the same thing looking for what's called a wildcard in Moodle. I could type in this 100 and put asterisks around it, and it would grade every one of these here and look for 100. And so this example right here, Moodle would have graded this correctly because it would have saw that 100. It wouldn't have the asterisks around it for the feedback for the students, but it would mark this 100. And so we keep going through this, and you'll notice that what I have to do, and to me it's super annoying now and it's a waste of time. Like, I'll be honest, the teacher and I that switched from Moodle to accommodate, to play nice with our school district, we're going through tests and doing things that we haven't done in 15 years. So I'm going through this and changing grades. So I have to push this clear, or I have to copy this and put it in your solution. I keep adding answers. And so we know that mathematically that as we get more digits, as we get more letters going here, the possibility of trying to figure out all these possible ways that students like that one's wrong and would never be marked right. But the possibilities are huge. But we do know that what we figured out using Moodle and this wildcard feature, again, the wildcard feature had these asterisks, and this line here would basically look for 100 in anything that a student types. So of course that was marked right in Schoology because it was looking just for pure 100, no space, nothing after it, before or after it. Again, that would have been marked wrong. That one's marked right. So I'm going through this. This one would have been graded right, but I copied and pasted that back into your solution to this same issue. And so that's wrong. That would have been marked wrong. But this has 100 in it. And so I have to go back and overwrite it. And again, I know that 90% of every teacher on this planet using Ideal A, Schoology is totally okay with that. But again, it's almost like an education. You can't be mad at people for what they don't know. And so they don't understand, like, they're wasting time when the computer will search arrays, lines. If you go and look at Excel, you could do if then, and it will find things out of a string. And so our computer system, your computer system, Schoology's computer system, which I now have to use, should be able to look within the array that a student types and find that one would be marked wrong. It should have marked this one correct. That one should be marked wrong. The computer should look for arrays based on parameters that I set. So I went through this, and I marked that one correct. And again, the computer in Moodle would have marked that correct. And I got to the point where I was confident that I would just go look at the ones marked wrong, and then I'd go through it again. And it was less than 1% of the time that the way that we had it set it up was great. The other thing that we're missing with this, you'll notice that some students in this AP biology class typed in a number. That's unacceptable to me. What they should type is a sentence restating this. The hydrogen concentration from tomatoes to then rainwater is 100 times greater, period. So I would actually do two things. I'd have another wildcard here. I'd have them actually type a sentence. And so what it created was a culture of, hey, I want you to tell me the answer. I want you to restate the question, and I want you to have a period at the end. And so in Moodle, we have this great bank of assignments made that were 99% accurate on what we were looking for. And two, it also gave us the ability that if they typed this wrong, it would give this feedback immediately. Let me say that again. They have to finish their attempt and then they get this feedback. The second thing that needs to happen is there needs to be a check button right here. So when a kid types in 20,000, they push check, they know it's wrong, and then they can look at the answer and see why it's wrong. Again, whether you agree with that or not, it's still my option as a teacher to give them that check button. If this isn't a test, maybe it's a lab and they're just working through the lab and they're trying to figure it out. But we have to have this idea that a wild card will go and look for specific things, so I don't have to go through all these answers over and over and over again and waste 5 minutes going through my 2 classes here. Again, there's another example where I had to copy and paste it back over here. It's one of those. And that would have been marked wrong. That would have been marked wrong. I had to copy and paste that one back. And so I'm either having to change this or copy and paste it back into here. And the same thing should happen for our assessments. And so if I go to a large assessment, so let me find something we've been working on. We have a large table that they need to fill out. And it's a great assignment. Kids like it because they get to go around the microscopes and work on things. And so what this looks like on our side is a mess. And so I have 150 responses here, okay? And so I have my answers in. And so a couple things. Number one, I should be able to put a wild card in here and have a kid, if they put 40, let's say I just want to look for 40, whether they put an X or not, they should get credit for that. Or because now if they didn't put 40X here perfectly, and even if they put a space after, they made an error and they hit a space, or I hit a space, it's going to mark it wrong. And think of going through 100 students at 150 of these questions. When the computer, if we had wildcards, could do this for me. And so even in the assessment part of this, the backside of the assessment, I should be able to, put in, instead of 1,000X or whatever it may be, I can put a wild card. Please just look for this numerical answer. The second part is when we do science data, there could be a data range. And so we could also do, and let's say I want to do data range 1 through 10. And in Moodle, we would put plus or minus 0.08. So they could put something like a range of, they could put any number between 1 and 10, and they could go 10.8. And that would be fine. Or they could go 0.2 and it would find that data range. And so I think we're missing the boat here and not getting on board with this idea that you need to be able to look for specific keywords in a string of characters or answers when a student types in a sentence. So if you please have any questions, please let me know. Again, my name is Bruce Price from Twin Falls High School. I hope that helps.